All right, good freaking morning, or should I say afternoon. Just want to make this quick video real quick about getaround. I had recently just kind of started a YouTube channel called Car B&B because I do have about 24 cars that I rent out on Turo and getaround. And for the past 3 years of doing it, it's been going really well. And I apologize, the camera's going to be a little bit shaky. I have to hold the camera the whole time. My holder won't stick to the window for whatever reason, so I got to get another one, so I apologize in advance. But, so, like the title says, I've lost 2 cars on getaround in the last 3 months. One car is about 75 days. One car is about 75 days since it's been stolen. And I've had almost zero communication with getaround on that and my other car. I have total about 24 cars total, and I saw something that had come across my browser one day for getaround, and then they was offering a host guarantee. So I put 4 cars on their profile. Everything was going great at first. I had great communications with my handler named Stephanie. She was really good at answering questions. It was really cool because it was like kind of a liaison for getaround. She would, ask me questions about the car when I'm ready to get them, programmed, and it was just great. Her communication. I've been doing getaround for probably about 5 months now, and I've had issues ever since I started the program. But the difference between getaround and Turo is for the economy cars, getaround was paying way better. It was way more consistent than Turo was. I love Turo. Turo's more so better for luxury cars. What I find, my economy cars, they don't do terrible, but they don't do the type of volume that getaround was. So like I was head over heels in love with getaround, like head over heels in love with them. I love the fact that they put the trackers on your car for you. They upload the pictures. They handle the pricing. If there's any event in town, they're hiking up the prices. If it's a low demand, they're lowering the prices. Like it was just sweet. And when it came to the customers, it was really cool because with the customers, I didn't have to meet anyone. Not that I have a problem meeting people with Turo. I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of celebrities with Turo, which was really, I wasn't expecting that at all. Like I said, everything was going great. My first month, I had only put like 2 cars on there, but the 2 cars had made about $2,400. So each car is making about $1,200, about $1,200 a month. Plus you had your host guarantee as well too. So shit was all lovely. I did notice in the first month I had like a couple issues with some people, returning the car late, but then it'll automatically charge their card, so you didn't have nothing to worry about. And then I started getting different problems. Like they won't have money to continue their trip. Once they didn't have money to continue their trip, they will leave the car somewhere. I live in Atlanta, so and I live in Marietta. So once the trip is over, you're able to see your customers, not your customers, your car's locations. During the trip, you are not able to. They had my car over there by Six Flags in Austell, Georgia. So getaround's normal procedure is to go out, send someone to get the car. They try to contact the customers, and then they send someone to get the car towed back to his home location, which sounds sweet if you had trusting people. That wouldn't be a problem if Atlanta was not the home of the scammers. But what they would do, at first what had happened is I'll have to go pick up the car. One time I picked up my white Elantra. I got there, the car was completely smoked out. They ran all the gas out the car, and they didn't leave the keys in the car. Luckily I had a spare, and it's crazy because I didn't really start keeping spares until I started a rental business. Before that I always just had 1 key. I'm just glad I changed that habit. And even if I get a used car with 1 key, I always just get a second key made. And I'm glad I did, and then something told me to bring that key. So I got the car. I got the car. I had to leave my car up there because usually my wife helps me out a lot, or my brother. But I left the car. I had to go up there. I left one of my cars there and drove that car, got it cleaned up, got it back. Now, Getaround, when I told them I was going to go get the car, they actually didn't recommend it. They actually don't really want you to go get the cars. They don't want to put you in harm's way, which, man, I got some stories about that shit. I'll probably upload that on another video, and I'm also going to talk about how these people are scamming. I know exactly what they're doing. Like, Getaround really needs to see this video because they are extremely naive. Because I know exactly what they're doing, but I don't want to go over in the video, so I'm not going to too much touch on that. But long story short, with the white car, they did reimburse me for everything. They reimbursed me for them not returning the car, reimbursed me for the key, reimbursed me for my gas having to go out there, reimbursed me for my time having to go out there. Like, in reimbursements alone, it was like $300. So it was like the car rented out for another week. I mean, I only paid $90 for another key. So the other, $210 was just like extra money. So I wasn't complaining, because with Turo, they don't do all that. Like, they didn't have at the time. At the time, Turo is giving like inconveniences for like gas now, but at the time, Turo wasn't doing that. So I just felt spoiled to Getaround, because basically in the fees alone was like if the car had rented out for one more week. So I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. So I didn't mind when things went wrong. I really didn't mind. One time some girl got the car booted and she just left the car there. She left the key in there. I went and got in the key. She did smoke, so I got a smoker's fee. I had to pay for the boot and ink it. Like, it was another $300. Like, I had made, like, in the first 2 months, like maybe $1,400 off of inconvenience fees. So like, I was in love with Getaround until one of my cars actually went missing for the first time. And boy, oh boy, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I was completely optimistic, because they installed the GPSs for you. All my cars on Turo, I had been doing Turo for about 3.5 years. I've been with Turo since it was relay rides. And man, it was so crazy, man, because in my whole 3-4 years with Turo, I've only had maybe one scammer and probably one person where I had to go hunt my car down. But it wasn't really that far. They was like, maybe, 10 minutes, 15 minutes away, overslept, wasn't answering the phone, or dropped their phone in the toilet, some stupid shit. But overall with Turo, I've never really had to deal with too much theft. And that also might have a lot to do with the fact that I do a lot of airport deliveries. I don't really like to too much deal with too many locals, for obvious reasons, especially in Atlanta. But that might be a reason why I haven't really had too many big incidents. So, but my car had I had noticed, like, for something that always comes over me when I think something's wrong. Something that's told me I know a car was supposed to be coming back to his home location at like 5 p.m. Now, I don't live at my home location. I have like Airbnbs throughout the city of Atlanta, so I just use the parking garages there and put like 5 cars per home, for my Airbnbs. There was no point in giving me a warehouse, even with 20-something cars. The cost would have been too great. So I noticed that the car, like, I was on my way to sleep. It had been like, the car was supposed to be back at 5. It was like maybe 9 o'clock, and my old ass was tired. And I said, well, let me just check to make sure the car is back. And I looked, and sure enough, the car isn't back. So I typically call Getaround. They go ahead and process it and keep charging the person's card. So then the next day, you're no longer able to see, once they do that, you're no longer able to see the GPS of the car. Because what they do is they renew the trip, or they extend the trip on their behalf, because they haven't returned the car. So, lo and behold, the next day, after they extended for a day, I was able to see the GPS again. So when I went to look at the GPS again, it was saying like the car is over there by a highway in Beaufort, Georgia, which is extremely far. and it wouldn't. And at first I thought they were just picking up because maybe they're driving on the highway and they're on the way back. But after another 5 minutes, it didn't update. Then another 10 minutes, it didn't update. 30 minutes, it didn't update. It just showed that the car was off the highway. So I'm like, well, what the hell? So called Getaround, had to talk to like 6, 7 different people. Man, their customer service when it comes to missing cars is absolutely terrible. They do everything to make you feel comfortable, like they're actually going to be doing the right thing, and they don't. They absolutely don't. Which is when that's when I kind of learned that maybe I made a mistake, because no one knew where the car was. I saw I was getting multiple stories about, oh, they had to go pick up the car. The driver couldn't do it because there was no key in it, which didn't make any sense to me, because if you're repossessing a car, you don't need a key, especially for a fucking Hyundai Elantra. Like, I could see if it was like like one of my Maseratis that sits real low, you might have some trouble, but it's a Elantra. So he said that the tow man just left the car there. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to go out there, and if the key is in the car, I'll just get the car and take it home. I get out there, sure enough, I check the GPS, it's showing on the highway. I go up and down the highway for like maybe 20, 30 minutes and didn't see the car. So then we called back after phone call. We said, okay, so what's the name of the tow company? They couldn't give me the tow information. They said it goes through a third party, so they can't give me that information. I'm like, what the hell? What you mean you can't give me the information to a person who has possession of my car or had eyes on my car? How can you not give me the information? But they said, but they ended up, after about a 15-minute hold. Now, mind you, this is while I'm out on the highway going back and forth looking for this car. They finally said that it's at this address. So the address is to a hotel. I go to the hotel, the car is nowhere in sight. I'm like, okay, I'm at the address where you said that the driver said where the car was last, and it's not here. So lo and behold, the car at this point is gone. So now, and then I start getting alerts that the GPS has a low battery. So usually, and I already knew what that meant. Like, I already knew when it said low battery, that means they have disconnected the Getaround. Which again, I'm going to another video of how these people are stealing these cars. I know exactly what they're doing, because I do Airbnb. They have almost the same exact system with Airbnb and have been able to defraud Airbnb for years. Airbnb has gotten a little bit of a better handle on it, but they still slip through the cracks. It's really hard to stop credit card fraud and identity fraud, but Getaround makes it way too easy. And again, I'm getting to that in another video. But long story short, that was about 78 days ago, maybe it could be 80 days now. And I just had the same thing happen again to my silver car, my silver Elantra, where someone disconnected the GPS, left it on a highway in Spartanburg, like North Carolina or something like that. I wasn't going to go out there and find out shit. So, and no matter how much I stressed on the phone, my grievances, me having to come out of pocket, having to pay car notes, having to still pay car insurance on cars that I no longer have. Like on one of my Elantra, I've paid maybe $1,200-$1,300. No, I'm sorry. With insurance, about $1,600, and my other Elantra, I paid a part of another about $1,000 since it's been missing. So I came out of pocket about $2,500 over cars I don't have. And Getaround's doing absolutely nothing about it. There's speculation that they could be shutting down, speculations that, because they stopped taking new cars, which didn't really alarm me, because they could just be trying to catch up on claims, revamp their whole system. I've seen companies do that before. Airbnb had one of my claims held up one time for maybe 3 months, and then all of a sudden they just paid it. So I'm not going to jump the gun and say that they're going out of business. They could just be revamping everything or trying to get a handle on the theft, because this is all over. This isn't just, I realized I thought I was a special case. I am not. Like, this shit is going on everywhere, especially California. California and Chicago got it worse than Atlanta, from what I hear. So right now, I don't know what my next step is going to be. I'm trying to refrain from a lawsuit or going after them, because I'll pay a lawyer and then they'll get their shit together and bring it to their attention, and they'll probably do what they have to do faster. But I'm gonna have to pay my lawyer up front to do the shit. So I'm trying to give them time, because like I said, I've seen this before with Airbnb, Turo. These are the problems Getaround is having is the problems Turo had in its early stages. As far as the communication goes and making their customers and taking care of their hosts, making us feel safe and valued, they're having the same exact problems Turo has. And Turo's not by far perfect, but they don't handle me like this. They don't. Turo has never... I never had a feeling that Turo wasn't going to pay for something. I get that feeling with Getaround. They've made me feel that way. They don't return emails, or they say on the phone they're going to email me. They don't email. And they'll try to stall and send me an email saying we need a police report. I say, okay, well, I've already sent the police report. Get no reply. So at this point, I don't have cars. I've taken my other two Elantras off the platform entirely. I didn't want the risk involved with it anymore. So I took my two Elantras off until they figure it out. It just sucks, man, because Getaround was great money. Like, you understand how futuristic I was thinking. I was thinking about putting like 25, 30 cars on Getaround. 25, 30 cars, like just little economy cars that, like my Elantras, I had to do no fucking maintenance on them cars. Every now and then, I had a little pop wheel, a little $30 wheel. Like, it was nothing. It was such a relief from my luxury cars, because my luxury cars make a lot of money. Like, my Corvette makes money, but it still got mad fucking maintenance. Or something go wrong on that and it's not under warranty, you gotta fix it. My BMW went out the other day for like some valve cylinders. It was like $600. I'm like, damn, that's all the money I made for it for the weekend. But that don't happen with my economy car. So I had a sweet plan in mind, and now I got to revamp that and probably try to plus everything with Turo and try hire cars, someone else, or get around another chance and just add like a secondary GPS or something like, or get cars that have built-in GPSs, you know, something of the sort. But right now everything is kind of in limbo with me. I'm still being a little bit patient. I'm gonna give them maybe a couple weeks before I decide to take some type of action. I still don't know what it's going to be right now, because I hate going through the legal process. I do, but we are talking about $50,000 worth of goddamn cars. You know what I mean? Like, $50,000 is a lot of money to just throw away, man. So, and I'm not doing that. So, not for something that's not my fault. But my next video, stay tuned. I'll be going into exactly how they're doing it. Share some of my other Getaround stories, my Turo stories, and I'm going to really be fulfilling this channel. I had a lot of business things going on. I invested with a cannabis business, so I haven't really had time to make videos, but I am now. So just stay tuned, and I will be posting that other video probably sometime this week. All right, peace out, guys.